Welcome back to the Yogi. I'm Julia, your yoga instructor for arthritis, and in today's yoga video I will be guiding you through a Yin Yoga tutorial for the Dragon Pose series. So what's Dragon Pose? Well, first I'll let you know what you need for this class, and then we'll dive in a little bit deeper. You'll need a yoga mat, 2 yoga blocks if possible, something to cushion your knee, whether it's a knee pad, a cushion from your couch, a folded blanket or towel. You want to make sure you have supportive cushioning underneath the knees today. And you can also bring a blanket and have 2 chairs handy, because I will be providing a variation off of the yoga mat and onto chairs, so we can avoid putting any pressure on the knees if that's not feeling so good today. So let's go deeper. What is Dragon Pose? In Yin Yoga, Dragon Pose is a deep hip opener, a deep groin opener, releasing any energetic blockages in that area. It's where we tend to hold our emotions, and it's a good place to start in a Yin practice to release any tension and release any energies that are blocking, so then the energy can move freely throughout the body. Dragon Pose can help with sciatica, with lower back pain. It can help with tightness in the legs and in the hips. It can also be a mild back bend or a forward fold. If you're not feeling good to come down to the floor today or come down to your knees, then you don't have to come down to the floor. You can also use my chair version, which I will teach right after I teach the classical floor Yin postures. Let's get into it together right away. I'm going to be using a pad, so have it handy, and let's close our eyes and bring attention to our breath. And then exhale to release your breath through your nostrils. Start to even out your breath. Exhaling as long as your inhales. Now that we've lengthened our breath and created some balance in our inhales and our exhales, bring attention to the part of your body right now that needs some extra love, some TLC. Simply notice as you breathe. Send your breath to this location in your body. Breathe in deeply into that space. And as you exhale, release some of that tension, restriction, or blockage. Let's do that one more time. Bring your attention to that space and send your breath. As you exhale, notice it releasing just a little bit further. And you can come back to your natural breath, knowing that at any time during this practice, you can always send your breath to areas of tension. Please honor your body. If you experience any pain or tingling or sharp sharp pains in this practice, please mindfully come out of a pose and relax. And send gentle loving kindness to that area of the body and move with mindfulness as you continue your practice, knowing you can stop at any time. Let's take a moment to set our sankalpa, our intention for today's practice. Keeping the same intention as last week, or maybe something has shifted and you want to set a new intention. Let's take a moment to do that. Breathe in your intention. And exhale to flow it out into the universe. Planting the seeds, the vibration that we want to see grow or be invited more fully into our own lives. You can slowly float open your eyes and gently stretch out your legs. I know I'm feeling it today in my knees. I'm going to honor my body and move mindfully, and as you should as well. Maybe send the fingertips behind you and start to lift the chest, getting a nice little heart opener while we stretch our legs. You can point the toes, wiggle the toes. Maybe make some circles with the ankles to one side and the other. If you're feeling any stiffness in your wrists, you can always roll out your wrists if that feels good. And take your time to mindfully make your way to tabletop position with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Sending your knees to a padded surface. If you can put any pressure on your knees, always make sure that you have some type of padding underneath. Lengthening and bringing awareness through the spine and the crown of the head. Making sure that we have our props nearby, whether a chair or 2 yoga blocks. You can gently step your right foot forward. Maybe use your right hand to hold your ankle and pull it forward in one swooping motion. And we'll grab our blocks and place them at the highest height. We want to ease into our yin postures and hold them for longer. Breathe in to step your foot in line with your knee. A nice plumb line from the knee all the way down to the heel. Spreading the toes wide, grounding into all 4 edges of the feet. Start to release the shoulders, bending the elbows slightly by your sides. Coming into high dragon. I also like providing the option of using a chair because it does provide a different depth of the pose. Instead of coming all the way down to blocks, you can place your hands onto the chair in front of you, gently breathe. And keeping a nice long spine with the option of even taking a slight back bend, lifting the heart, lifting the chest. Keeping our heel in line with our knee, breathing in and out. If you need a moment to explore and adjust, you can always send your hips back with a gentle bend in the knee, flexing the toes towards you to release the head, and then mindfully move back into the pose. We want to target the joints and the deep tissues of the connective tissues of the body. We're not focusing on stretching the muscles as much as we want to go deeper into these connective tissues without causing any pain. So once you're here, if this feels good to you, light touch to your blocks, breathe in and lift your heart, And we'll move into stillness and silence for a few moments just to breathe. And send your breath to any areas of tension that you want to release in your body. Observe any sensations you might be feeling in your body. And if something doesn't feel right, honor your body and take a moment to adjust. Whether it's changing your blocks, whether it's changing the padding underneath your knees to add a little bit extra padding, or maybe even backing off completely because you know that being on your knees today just doesn't feel right. Take 3 more mindful breaths. Take a long, slow, deep breath into the belly and into the hip flexor, and exhale completely. We'll send the breath all the way to the heart center. Letting go of any emotional blockages. And when you're ready, bring weight into the hands gently and send your hips back in line with one another. Release the head for a little counter pose. Notice how that feels in the head, the neck, and shoulders. Stretching out the back of our hamstrings, the back of our legs. Bowing the head, keeping our focus inwards, although there might be distractions from the outside world. Take your time to slide your right knee back in line with the other. And when you're ready, we'll switch sides. Stepping our left foot forward, you can grab the ankle and slide it forward. This is a little trick. Set your yoga blocks to highest height and get comfortable with your hands. Maybe you can take a moment to roll out the wrist, stretch the fingers, and then walk your foot forward and bend the knee so it's in line with your heel. Coming into high dragon, placing your blocks to either side of your left foot this time, and begin to soften at the shoulders, the elbows, lifting our hearts forward. Notice where there's any tension and send your breath to release it for the next few moments. Ground into the 4 edges of the feet, the big toe, the baby toe, the sides of your heels. And notice what you're holding on to in this moment. Breathe in and exhale to let it all go. Helps us to find comfort in our discomfort and to go deeper than the surface level. Whether it's our connective tissues and our joints, our emotions, or our energy body, Yin guides us to move inward and deeper. Let's take 3 more breaths and notice what comes up. Notice what we can let go with every exhale. Notice where you can soften. Last exhale, press into your hands and gently extend that left leg. I'm just showing you my foot. I'm flexing my foot towards me, keeping a slight bend in that left knee. And gently drop the head. I'm feeling a nice release in the neck, the shoulders. And breathe deeply and fully. One more full deep breath. And then we'll roll forward back into our lunge. Release the blocks for a moment. And we'll come to all fours, coming down to our forearms to give our hands and our wrists a break. Take some time to roll out the wrists, moving to one side first, very mindfully, and then allowing the wrist to move to the other side. You can keep your head released or looking up towards your wrists, whatever feels good to you. You can spread the fingers wide and create a small, gentle fist. Child's pose, releasing the forehead, and breathing. Allowing the internal organs to receive a massage. Maybe you're creating space in between the knees, sending the big toes together. Maybe you're able to send the hips all the way back to the heels, and maybe you're not. We're only here for a moment as a counter stretch, and then we'll come back up to all fours and notice how we feel here. Create length in the spine, the back of the neck, all the way through the crown of the head. As we move into winged dragon, and step your right foot forward, taking your time again, using your hand around the ankle if that feels good, to sweep it forward. You have the option to slide your chair towards you to the inside of your right leg, and as you bend forward into your right leg, finding your ankle in line with your knee, you can bring your forearms down to the chair beside you, or you can bring your hands to the chair. Even placing the chair in front of you, you can send your forehead and your arms down. Send your forearms down to the chair and breathe. And notice what feels good on the body. This brings a bit more pressure to the front of the joint. Maybe you want to come back up. And breathe in. And breathe out. You have the option to send your foot slightly outward to the right side to create more space in the hip, and notice what that feels like as you come back down into your posture and breathe. Maybe you're coming down to blocks, and if you're coming down to blocks, you can stack your blocks to create a bit more height, whatever feels good for you. You can press back through your hands and slide your right leg back to meet your left. And take your right leg forward. Do the opposite side, so slide your chair over. sending your left leg forward in line with your knee. And you have the option again to keep your hands to the inside of your left leg, or come down to your forearms on your chair and breathe, relaxing the head. And note that you can take any option that feels good to you here, whether you want to keep your hands on the ground, on blocks, or if you want to have a little bit more height, you can use your chair. And do what feels good for you. Yin is all about exploring our poses and finding our edge. Listening into our bodies and releasing. As we go further into our posture, you can bring your hands back to your chair and slowly send your left knee in line with the right. And taking a moment to breathe. So you can bring your hands to the chair in front of you, and you can gently release your head in between your arms. And press back into your chair, and we'll be moving into Twisted Dragon. So you can send your right foot forward once again, and breathe. And make sure the spine is nice and lengthened before coming into our Twisted Dragon. You have the option to keep your hand on your chair, or to bring your forearm down to your chair, lengthen your spine, and then send your arm behind you on your hip to gaze to the right back wall, and breathe, making sure that your heel is underneath your knee. Soften the shoulders and soften your breath. And when you're ready to come back to center, gaze forward and gently press back up. You can release the back of your leg, holding on to the seat of your chair. Inhale and exhale to come back up. Mindfully send your right leg back and send your left leg forward, coming into a modified lunge. Breathe in to lengthen your spine. And when you feel ready, you can either keep your hand to the chair and gently twist to the left, or you can send your forearm down to the chair if that feels better. Lengthen through the crown of the head and twist to the left side, gazing over to the left shoulder, or wherever it feels comfortable for you. Inhale and exhale. You can have the option to send your arm up if that feels good. And then when you're ready, gently turn back to center, bring your hands back to your chair, and mindfully press back through the hips and come to your left heel to release. And take a few mindful breaths. If that feels good, you can press back to send your foot underneath your heel, curl your right toes under to press up, and mindfully step your foot to meet your other. And when you're ready, we'll mindfully come up to standing with a long spine, and we'll move through to some chair variations. You'll need a chair to sit on and a chair to also relax your upper body on. So use whatever you have around the house. Ideally, the chairs don't have any arms. Okay. So let's settle in for a moment on our seats, taking a few mindful breaths in and out. I think it's important to show many different types of variations, and you choose which variations work best for you. As we move inward and settle into our breath, you can float open your eyes, and we'll begin by sending our bodies to the right side of our chair. And now that we're sitting facing the right, send your arm to the back of your chair and send your opposite hand to your seat. And we're going to press back. So we're sitting on our lower thigh and making sure that our knee is in line with our heel. Stepping our leg back, up on the toes. We are breathing, inhaling and exhaling, getting a gentle back bend, taking our high dragon. You have the option here to send your hands to your chair in front of you. Breathing in and out, sending the shoulders back. Keeping your head in line with the spine with a gentle bow to the head. Breathe in and out. Continue to lengthen through the spine. Very good. And when you're ready, take your hand and send it back to the back of the chair, and send your opposite hand to the inside of your chair. And you'll step your foot to meet your right, just for a moment to ground. Notice both of your sit bones. And we'll do the same side and move into winged dragon. And then take our twist, and then we'll move to the opposite side to do the same, just to give you an idea of the different variations you can take while you settle in for 1 to 2 minutes per pose. Whether you're taking the floor variations or the chair, send your second chair to the outside of your right knee, and mindfully with your hands on the back of the seat and the base of the chair, step your left leg back and breathe in. We're taking a minor back bend here, so just be aware, be very mindful, and make sure that your chair is close enough to you so you can come down. Breathe in with a long spine, and as you exhale, you can send your hands to the outside of your right knee. And if it feels good, you can even add a folded blanket or a pillow or something that's stable but that's cushioned to come down to your forearms. And if you're comfortable where you are, you can breathe, relax the back leg, and inhale and exhale. Notice your hips and level them out. Sending your right sit bone back to the chair. Breathe in and out. And take a moment, taking a few breaths here. If you want to relax the back of your foot, you can. You can even add a cushion underneath, so that way it's lifted up a little bit. Just sliding maybe a bolster underneath it. I'll show you what that looks like. You can stay where you are. I have my bolster. I'm just going to place it underneath my foot. It's all about finding what works for you. This kind of releases a bit of pressure. There you go. Send it a little bit further back by pressing. There you go. Notice what works for you and what doesn't. You want to keep it underneath the shin, that's perfect. And breathe in and out, releasing the head. ready, take your time to press back up through the hands, lift the heart, breathe in, and come back to your toes for just a moment, lengthening the spine. Very, very mindfully, as you lengthen the spine all the way through the crown of the head, breathe in, and as you exhale, very mindfully, take a gentle twist to the right. We're not pulling ourselves, we're just allowing ourselves to relax. Take a few mindful breaths. You can relax your shin onto your bolster. Breathe, releasing the toes. Every inhale, think of the length you're creating through the spine. And then as you exhale, gently curl the toes back under. And mindfully move back to center, sending your left hand to the base of the seat. We'll take our time and move to center. Just take a moment to notice how you feel on this side since we just worked it out. Maybe some release. Maybe the left side still feels kind of stiff, but we're going to get to that together. You can shake out the ankles to one side or the other, shake out the feet. When you're ready, we're going to switch sides with our bolster and our chair. So take your time, sending your chair to the opposite side, and sending your bolster to the opposite side as we move into the left side. So the first thing I'd like to do is to have you slowly walk the feet to the left. So you're sitting all the way to the left on your chair. You're holding onto the back of the chair so you don't fall. And sit up nice and tall, bringing mindfulness and awareness to your body in this particular space and time. Step the right leg back. I want to keep that bolster, so step it over the bolster. And you can relax your shin on the bolster if that feels good. And make sure that you're laid on your lower thigh and that you're stable on your chair. And notice what this feels like to be in high lunge with the support either under your knee or under your shin. You can stack a few pillows if you don't have a bolster at home to make sure that you have some support underneath your knee or your shin. Breathe deeply. And notice what that feels like in your body as you move into another variation here of high dragon. Send your hands to the chair in front and breathe, lengthening through the crown of the head. You can also keep your hand to your thigh and breathe in and out for a few moments. And by sitting in the chair, we're really avoiding any pressure on the knee joint. And what we're doing is creating a nice stretch in the hip flexor without grinding into that knee. After a few mindful breaths here, in high dragon, we'll move to winged dragon. But you can stay here as long as you'd like to release any tension you might be feeling in the hip flexor, the groin, the quad. Take your time, move very mindfully, and set up your chair so it's to the inside of your left leg now. And we're creating a new posture here by coming to the inside. We're coming into the groin a little bit more. You can step out your foot if that's available to you. So your toes are pointing not just straight, but they can also point to the left side to create more openness in the hip. You have the option to send your elbows down to your chair or to a cushion or folded blanket. And then release the head, release the shoulders, and breathe. Coming into winged dragon. Taking full mindful breaths. And take as much time as you need in every single posture, in stillness and silence. And when you're ready, you can press up to your hands and send your left hand to the back of the chair, your right hand to the base, to come into high dragon once again, lengthening the spine, breathing in before we come into a gentle twist. Coming into twisted dragon, breathe in, lengthen the spine as you can see all the way the spine through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, gently twist to the left. And notice how that feels in the body. If there's any discomfort, you can release immediately. If you feel good here, then relax. Soften the shoulders, the jaw, the face. And take some mindful breaths. Should feel good in the hip flexor. A nice release in the spine. Making sure we're not compressing our lumbar spine in our gentle back bend. Continue to focus on the length as you breathe in. And as you exhale, just release any tension from the belly, from any part of the body you want to release tension in. And when you're ready, we'll gently move back to center. You can either send your hands to either side of the chair, just sweep your leg forward to meet on the left side, like this, or you can simply find your way back to center. Notice how your body feels now that we've gone ahead and practiced on the left side. Notice the difference, notice the balance perhaps that we've created during this short Yin tutorial dragon series. You can place your right hand to your heart and your left to your belly if that feels good, and follow the breath as it flows in and out. Absorbing the benefits of this practice. Benefits that calm and balance the mind and the body, increase circulation, flexibility, improvement of joint mobility, releasing fascia, and balancing our prana, our chi, in traditional Chinese medicine, and yin, which is our energy, balancing the internal organs, our mood, perhaps. You are so welcome to take Shavasana at this point and lie on your back if that feels good, or sit back in your chair using a blanket or no blanket, using the back of a wall to release the head. And I really enjoy taking long Shavasanas during a Yin practice, so you can set a timer if that feels good to you. Just follow the breath as it moves in and out. I thank you so much for joining me for this week's practice on the Ari Yogi YouTube channel. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, give it a like or a comment, and let me know how this practice went for you today. I am wishing you all the good things, all the release of any toxic energy, emotions, good energy, good mood during these uncertain and challenging times. You can stay exactly as you are in Shavasana or send your hands to heart center, taking a moment of gratitude with me, thanking ourselves for being here, being present for this practice. No matter what the outside world has in store for us, we're here together. From my heart to yours, namaste.